Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the honor and pleasure to invite Rabbi Friedman to be the keynote speaker of tonight. Rabbi Friedman is the speaker of the house. Almost every holidays, every event, we always invite him. The Almighty God will bless Rabbi to have a long and healthy and happy life. The topic of today is the 10 Commandments and the marriage life. How that the 10 Commandments can apply to our life in a general way and in an individual way to the marriage life. One of the simple ways that I can tell you, and Rabbi Friedman, like always, will bring his own share, his own view, always unique, is that Anochi Hashem Elokecha, velo yeh lecha elokim acherim. In the marriage life, very simple. Anochi Hashem Elokecha meaning, I am your husband and I am your wife. The Pasuk said, Moshiv Yechidim Baita, Motzi Asirim Bekosharot. A person has to remember that he is not the one that chooses his wife, and the wife is not the one that chooses the husband. The Almighty God is the one that put both of you together. Why is it important to remember it? Because there is no plan B and no plan C. There's only one plan. The first and the most important message from the 10 Commandments is to remember that your wife is your wife and your husband is your husband until 120. If you have only one plan, you're going to put your heart and soul in this marriage. Lo yeh lecha elokim acherim al panai, meaning stop comparing. The worst mistakes, I believe, one of the worst mistakes that we like couples is doing, we always comparing ourselves to somebody else. And I believe that Ezu Ashir HaSameach B'Chelko doesn't mean only physically. Mean be happy in what you have. Be happy in who you are. Learn to be happy with your achievement in life. Stop to compare yourself, not physically and not spiritually, to no one else. Stop to compare your wife or your husband. Why you cannot be like this woman? Why you cannot be like this husband? Why you don't help like... The worst mistake that we do in a marriage, and many of us fall down in these mistakes, is Lo yeh lecha elokim acherim. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I feel the privilege not to speak so much. When Rabbi Menis is here, I will give him the privilege to speak. I want all of us to stand up and to greet Rabbi Menis Friedman.
Let's read together, page. Just kidding. 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments of marriage. Is 10 enough? Or is 10 too many? Let's take a look at the 10 Commandments, the way they are in the Torah, because we're going to celebrate the giving of the Torah in a couple of days. So let's take a look. What is the first commandment? I am God, your God. What's the commandment? What are you supposed to do? The commandment is to know, understand, and get closer to Him. How do we see this? God is saying, I am God, your God. It's personal. I am God, but I'm yours. I belong to you. I am the God of the Jews, the God of Israel. I'm your God, the God of Avraham, the God of Yitzchak. So what exactly is the mitzvah? The mitzvah is get to know Him. He is yours, you should be his. That is the mitzvah. And Rambam begins, the beginning of all the mitzvot, to know, Leda, to know that there's an original being, everything comes from him, and so on. Because if you don't know him, then you don't really have a relationship with him. So we believe in God naturally, not a mitzvah. The first mitzvah is the God that you believe in, get to know him, because he wants to be yours and you should become his. How do you do that? By getting to know him. Now, how do we apply that to marriage? The first thing that you need to do in a marriage is to understand each other. Not psychologically, just practically. And the way to do that is by listening. If you don't listen, you don't understand. So when a wife is speaking to her husband and he already has an answer to what she's saying, he doesn't really hear what she's saying. He already has an answer. This is called not listening, and the result is you don't know. You don't know. I do marriage counseling. It is so shocking. You can say people disagree. You have a husband and a wife, and they disagree. He has his opinion, she has her opinion. Hey, that I understand. Then you have to work it out. The real scary thing is, he has no idea what her opinion is. So when a man says, my complaint to my wife is, okay, now your wife is going to come soon. What is she going to complain about? He doesn't know. He has no idea. And the other way around too. So if we don't listen, we don't understand. If we don't understand, we don't know each other. If we don't know each other, we're not connected to each other. And when we're not connected, we feel alone. And that's a terrible feeling. The second commandment, you shall have no other God. This seems like it's just repeating the first one again. I am God, not anybody else. So why do you need two commandments? I am God, so of course there's nobody else. Why do you have to have the second commandment? You should have no other God. In the olden days, when people really worshiped idols, they didn't forget that God is God. They were not unintelligent. They knew that there's a God and he created the world and he is very big and very holy. But when they couldn't see him and they couldn't get to him, so they spoke to something else that they thought was also a God. Not as big, but a little God. So the second commandment is, you can know me and know that I am God, but when you need something practical, you'll go to some other God just for that. So you're not denying God. You're just using other gods for practical. Like in the olden days, they had the sun god. They didn't think the sun created the world. They were not stupid. But they knew that if the sun doesn't come out and make the crops grow, they're not going to have what they eat. So after they finished planting and watering their fields, they prayed to the sun that the sun should do what a sun is supposed to do. That's called another God. What is the mistake? What is wrong with that? What's wrong with that is there's no point in asking the sun to shine. The sun can't decide when it's going to shine. It has no control. So if you think that the sun will shine on you if you're nice and you smile to him, and he's not going to shine if he's angry at you, that's crazy. The sun doesn't decide. So if you are praying to the sun, you're talking to the wall. Which in other words means, if you don't get something from God, then don't go looking someplace else. If you're not getting from God, then you probably don't need it. Because if you needed it, God would give you. So if you feel that you need it, ask Him. Don't ask somebody else. How does this apply to marriage? A person can be happily married. He knows who his wife is, and she knows who her husband is. But you know, the husband doesn't give everything. So if I need something that my husband is not giving me, I go to another man who will give me. That's having another God. And the commandment says, you shall have no other God. Whatever your husband can't give you, you probably don't need. Or he doesn't have it. One of the two. Whatever you're not getting from your wife, you probably don't need. Don't go looking for another little wife at certain times for certain things. It's never right, never necessary, and it never works. What is the third commandment? Don't use God's name carelessly. What is God's name? You know how kids who do these pranks, they call your phone number, and as soon as you pick up, they hang up. Just to be annoying. Or children who cry and scream they want their mother, and they call their mother, and the mother comes, what do you want? Nothing. When you use God's name, it's a very powerful attraction. Somebody calls your name, you react. Even if you fainted, if somebody would whisper your name, it would bring you out of the faint. Because when someone calls your name, it touches the deepest part of your heart. When we call God, when we use His name, He turns His entire attention to us. And then you have nothing to say. That's using His name in vain. If you're going to say God, if you're going to call God, it should be because you have something to say. By the way, every word in the Torah is God's name. So any piece of Torah, anything you're learning in the Mishnah, the Gemara, and the Chumash, if you say a word of the Torah, it gets God's attention. It's like if you were in a very crowded room, many people, and suddenly you hear someone call your name. And you turn around. Why do you think somebody's calling you? You're not the only one with that name. Or better yet, you're sitting in a very crowded room in a big place, a public arena, and somebody says, Jew. How do you react? You don't sit there thinking, I wonder who he's calling. No, you turn around. Why? Because that word is you. or for women, you're in a very crowded room with lots of women and somebody says, hey, gorgeous. You don't turn around because you don't think they're talking about you. Of course they're talking about you. So when you use God's name, you have to realize He reacts. He always reacts to His name. So if you use God's name, you've got His attention. Don't play with that. So His name is holy. Yehi Shem Hashem Nevarach. What is always this name? The name means when you call Him, He listens. So don't call Him if you don't have anything to say. How does this apply to marriage? Exactly the same way. Don't use your wife's name if you don't have anything to say. Don't ask for her attention and then not say anything or offer anything. My father, as I told you this evening, my father never called my mother by her name. He would go to where she was and he would speak to her. Calling by name is the power of it could be overdone. It's too powerful. You want to ask her where your shoes are, go ask her. Don't use her name. There's another thing. You know what? When God asked Adam, what did you do? Why did you eat from the tree? He said, remember? It was her idea. She made me. She told me. That's called using her name, her reputation, blaming it on her. In other words, a very simple word, your wife, your husband, is in your life for a reason. Don't use it for any other reason. What was wrong with Adam saying she did it or she made me do it, that's not what she's there for. She is not there so that you have someone to blame. That's not what a wife is. So if you use your wife for anything other than wife, you're abusing her name. There's nothing more powerful than calling somebody by their name. So imagine if somebody uses your name, but with a very bad tone. You should be careful with your children also. If a child is doing something bad, how do we react? I scream their name. Not a good idea. Their name is precious. Don't use it when you're angry. And that's why we all grow up with the same hang-up. Every time your father calls you by your name, you know you're in trouble. And your first thought is, why does your name bring out such a gift to you? Shouldn't it? But if the parents use the name every time they're angry with you, so now every time they use your name, you can get angry. So we see in the Torah that on many, many occasions, God counts the Jews by their name. This tribe, the head of the tribe, what was his name? What was his father's name? And it's never angry. Whenever God uses our name, the name of our father and tribe, it's always when he's talking with us. Not when he's okay, that's the third commandment. The fourth commandment is Zachor Yom HaShabbat V'Kadsheh. Remember the Shabbos. What is remember the Shabbos? Remember who created you and what his feelings about creation is. Because what is Shabbat? I created the world in 6 days and I rested on Shabbat. So God is telling us what his world is. It's 6 days of creating and 1 day of playing. Now God says, I do that. I rest on the 7th day, so I need you to join me and rest with me. So 6 days you should work, because I'm working. On the 7th day you should rest, because I'm resting. So we should do things together. When I'm working, you should be working. When I'm resting, you should be resting. Does that apply to marriage? You should always be on the same page. Look at your life with the same view. Your husband came to the marriage because he wants to be married. You came to the marriage because you want to be married. Stay together on this project. Don't go off and change the plan. That's what Shabbat means. So we have the commandment, get to know God. We have the commandment, don't go away looking for other little gods when you think you're in trouble. Third commandment, don't use God's name unless you mean it. And the fourth commandment is, if he's busy with something, join him. He's busy creating and fixing the world. Create and fix the world. If he is busy resting, then rest with him. Be on the same page. Commandment number 6. Honor your parents. How do you honor your parents? You do the little things that make their life easier. If they have to carry a bag, you carry it for them. A suitcase, you carry the suitcase. They have to get up from the table to get the ketchup, you bring them the ketchup. Save them the little work that they're going to need to do and do it for them. That's called honor. What does a servant do for his master? Brings him the food, brings him what he needs. He makes his life easy. Marriage is the same thing. You have to be really, really careful to not burden each other. You're not there to make each other's life heavier and more complicated. So husbands who demand, make dinner, bring me coffee, make me a tea. There's actually a song, a country western song. This was years ago they were playing. The words of the song were like this. Put another log on the fire, bring me my slippers, heat up my coffee, light my pipe, and then come sit down and tell me, why do you want to divorce me? Do all those wonderful things to me and we'll be happy. Why do you want to divorce me? If you're burdening each other's lives, you're sinning. And you have to be really careful, even little things. We know today, of course, because we're so much smarter today, but we do know today that there is this thing called a microaggression. You know what that is? No? Good for you. Today, there's a very popular, widespread, there are times when you're aggressive and you insult somebody or you intimidate them, but there are times when you're not so obvious. It's not an insult that everybody can see, and it's not a threat that anybody can see. It's a little threat. It's a microaggression. It's like if you say, Japanese people are good for photography. It's a compliment, no? You may even mean it as a compliment, but you hear what you're saying. You're saying they're not good for anything else. So it's a microaggression. People today, particularly in universities and colleges, they are so sensitive. You say, for example, women are the nurturers. They have the babies and they raise them. Microaggression. You're saying they're not good for anything else? So people get so upset, they get so offended, they get so threatened by everything you say because, oh, that sounds like a little bit of a... And it really makes them different. If a microaggression can cause so much harm, how much can a micro-kindness fix? If you simply get up from the table and bring your wife a drink without her having to ask, you change the whole nature of your relationship. And you might think, well, it's a little nothing. Little things are everything. So honoring parents doesn't mean build them the biggest house in town and buy them the fanciest car and take them on vacations. It means you're sitting and eating with them and they're about to get up to get the coffee. Don't let them. You get the coffee. And what will that do? It will honor them. Don't sit in your father's chair. How important can that be? Especially when your father's not home. You'll sit in his chair, he'll never even know, there's no damage. Such a little thing. The father is not home and you won't sit in his chair. Wow. You really have a father. If you sit in his chair, is your father really a father or just a friend? Or an enemy? When you feel like you really have a father, when you do these little things, you don't call him by his first name. Why? My father. You don't sit in his chair. You get up from the table to bring him his drink or a spoon. And the same is true with a husband and wife. Before you put food on your plate, put food on her plate. Is that a heroic thing to do? No, but it's magnificent. That's called honoring. And just like you honor your mother, you honor the mother of your children. And just like you honor your father, you honor the father of your children. Commandment number 6. Now we're getting serious. Don't murder. Even if you're married, in the privacy of your own home, you're still not allowed to kill your spouse. One of those laws. What does it mean to kill somebody? There is something a husband needs from his wife that cannot be ignored, it can't be replaced, there's no substitute. This is absolutely what makes him the husband of the house. And that is that she trusts him. Botach bo levailo. He trusts her, but that's because she's so fantastic, not because she needs it. He needs it. He needs his wife to trust him. Otherwise, he doesn't trust her. So it's not a compliment. I trust you, you're so good, you're so strong. It's not a compliment. It's recognizing his existence in the family. If you take that away, you've taken away everything. If a child threatens his father, it's not nice, it's violent, if your child threatens you, you're not the father anymore. He destroyed you completely. In other words, he destroyed your identity. You're supposed to be the father. Well, you're not. The same is true with the wife. The wife needs one thing from her husband and in order to feel like a wife. If you take that away, it's not a detail. You killed her. So we have to be careful not to destroy each other. And we do it all the time. It's so common. This is a little example of I don't understand why you have to be like that. I understand how that kills a person. You're not saying, can you please have the laundry done? You didn't do the laundry. Got a problem. Okay. But if you say, why can't you ever get the laundry done? You hear what you're saying? You're not worried about the laundry anymore. You're saying, what is wrong with you? If you can say such a thing to your spouse, you've killed the relationship. Anytime you say something that sounds like a condition, I can't be married to you like this. What did you just say? I can't be married to you until something changes? So if you want to criticize, you criticize something, not the person and not the marriage. Saying things like, I've had it. I can't take this anymore. Can't take what? Listen to what you're saying. I can't take this anymore. That means we're finished. You just killed me. So be careful not to kill each other with careless words. And then they come for marriage counseling, and she's all devastated, and he says, I never said I want a divorce. No, you can't divorce somebody and just kill them. You're not going to get divorced. You're going to be a widow. So if you kill the person without even noticing, that's really scary. We can be so insensitive. Okay. It's a long story, but I'll make it short. A couple came to marriage counseling. She had gone out of town, and when she came back, she saw some evidence that there had been a woman in the house. She was devastated. She was hysterical. And he said, no, nothing happened. Anyway, so they came. So we're sitting and talking, and she's crying, I don't know how I can live like this. I don't know what he's going to do next. I'm so insecure, I'm so worried. Every time I walk out of the house, what's going to happen? What is he doing? Where is he going? And then she kept saying, I forgive him. I forgive him. But the uncertainty, so what's going to happen next? I can't live with it. I know nobody's perfect. I forgive him. But how can I be secure if I don't know what's going on? No more surprise. I can't take these surprises. So I'm listening to this, and it sounds a little funny, no? So I turned to the husband, and I said, you hear what she's saying? He says, yeah, she's very angry with me. I said, no, you're not listening. She didn't say she's angry. The word anger did not occur even once. And she spoke for a long time. And also, if she's so angry at you, why does she keep saying she forgives you? You didn't even ask for forgiveness. Listen to her. I said, okay, let me tell you what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that she feels that she doesn't deserve to have a husband all to herself. And that's why she forgives me. People cheat on me, people were not nice to me. I'm used to it. I forgive you. But I'm really scared. What's going to happen next? You know the story of the ugly duckling? It's a children's story about a swan that got lost from its family, found a family of ducks, and thought he was a duck. But he didn't look like a duck. So he thought he was an ugly duck. But really, he was a beautiful swan. So I said, your wife sounds like she's the ugly duckling. And therefore, you don't expect anybody to be nice to her, because she doesn't deserve it. When I said this, she became hysterical. Crying. And then she said to him, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never told you. I'm not here. She comes from a very well-known, prominent, famous Jewish family. He says, what are you talking about? He says, I'm a doctor. Can you imagine? 9 years they're married. For 9 years she's living with this secret, with this guilt, with this embarrassment. She's not even Jewish. And they were a very religious family. So I said to the husband, you're living with this woman for 9 years. You never felt that there was something bothering her? Look at that. I mean, imagine how much that bothered her. She must have nightmares. So almost all the things that he said were to her like a knife in the heart. You imagine he would say, I hired a secretary. She said, no, you're not Jewish. Right the right thing? Anyway, so I said to her, what do you mean you're not Jewish? If your father, who's such a religious man, adopted you, then he converted you. He says, no, but a convert is not a real Jew. Whose opinion is that? So we straightened out that idea. You know? But look at how people can live together, and they're happy until this thing happened. Doesn't even feel her tension, her pain, her worries, her embarrassment. 9 years. So don't do it. Okay? Next commandment. Don't steal. Very simple. Give your wife credit when she deserves credit. Don't steal it. Give your husband credit for what he deserves. Don't steal it. Our son is so smart. Don't come from outside the family. Don't do that. Don't steal the credit. It's just very simple. Give credit. Give appreciation for things that your spouse deserves. Don't steal it. Without me, my wife would be nothing. Or without me, my husband wouldn't amount to anything. Don't steal. And also, don't steal the attention. You go to a party, you go to a simcha, and you're standing around many people. You want the attention. Even to take it away from your own self. If somebody comes and says to your wife, you're standing right there, and someone says to your wife, oh, you look so good today. And you say, you know, I was just, I saw this car. Why are you taking attention away from her? The people are giving her a compliment, they're looking at her, you take their attention away. You have to do it. the center of attention, that's sin. Don't steal. What's next? Don't commit adultery. Does that apply to marriage? What does it mean to commit adultery? You can imagine a person says, a man says, I am married, I'm a good husband, I am responsible, I work hard, I pay the bill, I take care of my wife, whenever she needs a doctor, I'll get her a doctor. But my pleasure comes from something else. She's not my pleasure. She's my wife. But I enjoy sports much more than her, and I enjoy my friends when we go out more than her, and I enjoy flirting, whatever it is. My pleasure is someplace else. That's called adultery. Same is true with God. Whereas I'm religious, I do the commandments, I do what I'm supposed to do, I put on the tefillin, I go to the tefillah, but when do I have fun? Where do I get pleasure? From non-Jewish things. So I do the Jewish things as an obligation. Pleasure comes from something not Jewish. That's called adultery. You're my wife, you're not my pleasure. You're my husband, but not the pleasure in my life. That's adultery. Shouldn't do that. Any other pleasure that we have is just pleasure. Nothing worthwhile, nothing serious, nothing holy. The pleasure we have in being a Jew, the pleasure we have in doing a mitzvah, that's real pleasure. That's our pleasure. You know the expression, you say, you do somebody a favor and they thank you, and you say, no, it's my pleasure. What does that mean? My pleasure. Many things are pleasure. No, this is my pleasure. What is it? When the pleasure is your pleasure, then it's a real, healthy pleasure. If it's not your pleasure, just a pleasure, then it's like chocolate and you'll probably get sick. When a Jew gets pleasure from being with you, that's his pleasure. His pleasure. When you get pleasure from your home, from your wife, from your children, that's the real pleasure. You enjoy somebody else's kid because he's sweet and smart? That's all right. It's not your pleasure. The greatness of the Rebbe, that any Jew, no matter where he came from and no matter what he looked like, was his pleasure. Not, you have to love every Jew. That's not. But the feeling every Jew is my pleasure, that's amazing. The next commandment is not to give false witness. Don't make statements that you're not even really sure about. You know, I think you're the type of person who will never be able to accomplish. Who made you the expert? Why are you giving false witness? False witness means You did not see, but you think you saw. Or you claim you saw, but you didn't see. We make statements that we're not qualified to make. Sometimes a husband complains about his wife. She always, or she never, and all I say is, are you sure? I believe you, but are you sure? But yeah. No, wait a minute. Are you sure? No. So why do they say that? Well, she grew up in a house where she never saw love, so she doesn't know what love means. Interesting. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You're not a qualified witness. Don't be false witness. And then the final commandment. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. See, it's almost like this last commandment is not another demand. This is like a promise. If you do the other 9 things, you won't be jealous. The result is you won't be jealous. This is really, really important. A man comes home to his wife. Not a Jewish man, not a Torah person, a secular person. He comes home and says to his wife, I just hired a new secretary. You don't see her. She is gorgeous. Will the wife be upset? You know your wife, right? If you came home and said, our new secretary, whoa, she's gorgeous. Would your wife be upset? Huh? If you did that, would you even survive to be able to tell people how she felt? Could you imagine this? You come home and you say to your wife, we hired a secretary. I've never seen anyone so gorgeous. And your wife says, oh, good. I'll come by tomorrow. I want to see her also. Can you imagine that? Or bring her home. Invite her for dinner. She's that gorgeous. I want to see her. No, never happened? Tell me why. Listen, explain this to yourself. Why, if a man comes home and says, my secretary is beautiful, why does that threaten your wife? Why? Two things. First of all, your wife really thinks that she is the most gorgeous woman in the world? Did you ever tell your wife that you think that she is the most gorgeous woman in the world? And now that another gorgeous woman showed up, the whole deal is off? Really? Is that what's going on? Your wife is important to you, precious to you. She is yours because she's the most gorgeous woman in the world. Is that right? In other words, every day of your life, are you competing with every other woman in the street? And if somebody in the street is better looking than you, that's it? Your marriage is in crisis? Why is it like that? Why is it like that? So what it shows is that this marriage cannot be pleasurable, enjoyable, fulfilling. It can't. You're always tense. You're always nervous. A husband said to his wife, I'm going to visit my sister. My sister, I love her. And the wife is threatened. Oh, you love her? Well, then stay there. If you love your sister, your wife is threatened. If you love anybody other than her, she is threatened. Why? There's something very uncomfortable in these relationships. There's another problem. We're actually told by certain rabbis and teachers, and the wife has to always look good. She always has to have makeup and perfume and fancy clothes, because if she's not good looking, the husband will look at other women. That is so mean. That is so cruel to the wife. Unrealistic. Your wife is 59 years old. Your secretary is 29. That's it. She's finished. If there's a competition going on, she already lost. It's so cruel. How should it be? Why would a man not be jealous of a neighbor's donkey? Healthy, strong donkey. Why aren't you jealous? Because it's not the looks, and it's not the love, and it's not the excitement. It's mine. What is mine is the most precious thing in the world. It's not mine. It's mine. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Not mine. I'm not interested. It sounds a little stupid. It sounds a little like, you go to your neighbors and their kids, they're so cute. You're jealous? You want to take those kids home? Exchange? You can't say the neighbor's kids, they're cuter than mine. Oh, what kind of mother are you? You're a very good mother. You also have good eyesight. The other kid looks better. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with telling someone your children are cuter than mine? Oh, so you want my children? No. You keep your children, I'll keep mine. But yours happen to be cuter than mine. That's fine. So what's a real marriage? The same thing with God. You're sitting on a plane, and the guy sitting next to you is a missionary. And he says, you know, in my religion, you go to heaven, you get rewarded, there are no commandments, you don't have to do so much, you can eat whatever you want. You're jealous? Would you be jealous? You have a very nice religion. Not mine. Not for me. That person says, you don't know what good, what a good ham tastes like. You never tasted it? You don't know what you're missing. It bothers you? You go home thinking, yeah, what am I doing? I don't know. What am I doing? It doesn't bother you at all. You keep your religion because it's mine. And mine is the only one I want. Not because it's the most beautiful and the most... No. It's mine. Those are the Ten Commandments. If we do this for God, we will be healthy Jews. And if we do this in our marriages, we will be healthy husbands and healthy wives. You know what happens when you're a healthy Jew and a healthy husband and a healthy wife? 3 guesses. You have healthy children. And if you can have that, you have it. That's it. The secretary can be gorgeous. It don't matter at all. I want good children. Good children. How do I get that? By being good myself. Everybody else in the world can be as gorgeous as they want. They can stare at themselves in the mirror. My pleasure, my God, my truth. Are we the best looking people? Who cares? What's that? And this is not a mystery. It says in the Torah very clearly. God said, you think you're the biggest nation in the world? No, you're not. You think you're the best and most holy people in the world? No, you're not. In fact, you're really difficult to get along with. You're a stiff-necked people, and you're never grateful, and I do everything for you, and you're always complaining. But you are mine. The rest of the world, I know. They're beautiful, they're smart, they're not mine. That's what we're going to celebrate in a few days on Shavuot. God came down to Mount Sinai and said, you are so good looking. No. He came down to Mount Sinai and said, I'm such good. No, he didn't say that. He came down to Mount Sinai and said, I am you. That's why I took you out of Egypt. So what was our reaction? Our reaction, really? Anything you want, we'll do it. So let's do it. Let's celebrate this year of appreciating what happened that day. 3,331 years ago. On a mountain, God said, I'm not interested in the rest of the world. I just want you. That's when we became the chosen people. You know how to spell chosen? Here's a brilliant achievement. Remember the book, The Chosen? Really popular book? This guy was trying to get married. So he says, I bought the book, it didn't help at all. Which book? The Chosn. It didn't help at all. So it's not about a Chosn, it's about the chosen. But you see, it's so similar. When you get married, you become the Chosn, which means you have chosen. Your wife is your chosen. So when God chooses us, when we become the chosen people, it means we became the married people, married to Him. And how do you express marriage? You're my beauty? No. You're mine. I'm yours. That's called chosen. enjoy the holiday, feel the holiday, and thank God for choosing. And then go home and be a better husband and be a better wife. Your children will thank you forever. So I wrote this book. It's called The Joy of Intimacy. It's about being chosen. It's about what it takes to make a marriage into a marriage, not just a love affair. So if you're interested, you have a few copies of it. Otherwise, thank you again. You should have only good news about your life, about your marriage, about your Jewish soul, and we should really become a light to the world, because the world is so confused. Thank you.
Once again, and let's thank you for the tradition to come in every Wednesday night for the traditional class, capital class here at BGCC. And also the traditional